Let me say that again. Compromising your values should be the furthest thing from discussion if the outcome and the goal is a healthy one in mind. Some things can start off good, and I can understand they can change. But just like a situation change, you have to have some resolve, some resiliency to decide if you want to change with it or not. Every situation isn't for everybody all the time. So, with that being said, make sure that if you go at it alone, that you can tote your own weight. If you go at it with part of the resource, not enough resource, you're going to have to do a lot more negotiating. In the space of negotiation, compromise always exists because that's what it is. But the minute that you have to sacrifice in an unhealthy way, then you might be somewhere along the lines of crossing your moral code. So these feelings, these anxieties, these uncertainties, these feelings of a level of insecurity, they are rooted to something that's fear-based. And most times when we are compromised, we hear it in a negative tone. It takes us down the rabbit hole. When we hear negotiate, we hear that conversation from a point of leverage. You know, like when we enter negotiations, we both have something to offer. We both have something to exchange. But in compromise, you have to accept some things. Acceptance is always the other language of what a compromise is. In negotiation, you have equity. And a compromise probably don't have as much. You have more of a personal equity. I think it's more about empathy, depending on what the nature of the compromise is. But when it comes down to negotiation, business tone, and how you go about setting your boundaries and what you expect, creating expectation management, I think once those parts are solidified, the only time you make compromise is when you have to adjust from the original plan. With some changes, we all got to compromise. We have to come to a point of acceptance, and we have to adjust. The key is not getting in a situation where you lack the ability to adapt. You lack the ability to adapt, you're going to have a tough time making the compromises that it takes to push the original agenda forward from a different path. We're on plan B now, or plan C, or whatever plan it is. If the goal is to get to point J together, we have to keep doing what it takes to get to point J. And if we put a threshold on how many times we're going to try it to the point where we can't do it, then we just got to say, hey, man, we tried. Maybe we need more. Maybe it's time to get more resource. Maybe we need to go back to the drawing board, because we all take chances and we all know the importance of teamwork. And sometimes you just can't win them all. Being willing to compromise, or should a man compromise? I think in a lot of cases, no. Some things are just non-negotiable, like I said before. Sometimes taking an L is non-negotiable. Sometimes you have to accept that you can lose. And you have to compromise within yourself to accept that this is your lowest point. You've made enough compromises. Now it's time to make sacrifices. When you think about compromise in the context of always having to take less than, in order to make something happen, eventually compromise leads to sacrifice. Compromise comes before sacrifice, even in the dictionary. We have to be okay with the idea that you're only going to compromise so much before you either sacrifice for yourself or you sacrifice someone else. You sacrifice a relationship, you might sacrifice a financial move, you might have to sacrifice friendships, you might have to sacrifice opportunity. And because eventually you're gonna be trading things at a different cost. At the compromise level, a negotiation, you're gonna have different types of goals that help people meet their immediate objectives. Like, there's a level of partnership with employees to a job. They trade services, trade labor for pay until the terms don't fit the relationship anymore. Then it's on the employee to decide if they want to compromise and try to negotiate better pay or better resources, or however that looks in that situation. And if they don't get what they want, what are they prepared to sacrifice to prove a point? And that's when you start getting strikes, picketing. But there's layers of control before it gets to that. When you have like labor unions, some sort of proxy capacity to let somebody else deal with the negotiation, to make everybody else happy, to make everybody else get a chance to compromise. Kind of like the NFL Players Association, or things of that nature. There's always some level of compromise that takes place because everybody has to have something. Everybody's got to feel like they're getting the best version of the deal because everybody's making a deal. Shout out to Uncle June. You say you're gonna come on in a little bit. Hope you're running my mouth. I appreciate you coming in and hitting the like button. To everybody else that's just jumping in, we're talking about should a man compromise who he is for anyone or anything? I'm gonna go ahead and put the question up on the scroll and let you guys jump in and have a chat at it. Let's see. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my links in the chat so you guys can go cop the book. As you see featured here over my right shoulder next to this glowing ball, try to get your attention over there. We all have something to offer if you're living in a good way. Y'all do. This is my book's 5-year anniversary year. I published this thing in like October 2018, and it was the first thing I had completed in a long time that had the level of significance that I couldn't anticipate having it. A lot of people have read the book and left me the feedback that it takes to keep writing, become a better writer, and be inspirational to other people. We got a lot of experience, and we have quite a few different hot takes on the world as it is. And at any given time, we can be in full agreement, full disagreement, but the nature of why we disagree or agree is relative to our personal journeys. The key is recognizing that. And it's not a fight. and recognizing that it's not a competition. Competition is useful when it's healthy, but if you have to consider, compromising who you are, you're probably in an unhealthy competition. Yes, an unhealthy competition. And the unhealthy competition is rooted in the need to be right, being unwilling to compromise, being uncoachable, unreceptive, all of the uns. All of the uns. So, we got to be mindful of the things that we compete for, and if they put us in a situation that can question whether or not we're compromising who we are. So there's a question at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? If anybody's got something to add, feel free to jump on. Wait on Uncle Junior. You probably getting some water or something. Probably in the backstage. Is he back yet? No, not yet. But I want you guys to definitely figure out what it is that you're willing to stand on and meet opposition. Because if you're going to be responsible, people are going to put you in positions where they're going to try to make you feel like you're trying to compromise yourself. And what we're not going to do is